Okay, I'm here. Oh my god. Wow, I got held up a bunch here. Hey, it is Friday, Friday night / Saturday morning, 12:27 a.m., and, I am here. I did not stream last night, as I said. I cannot hear myself. There we go. I did not stream last night. I felt too sick, and also the Game Awards were happening, so I was like, fuck it. I'll just get other stuff done. And, I'm here tonight. I am still sick. I still have not tested myself for COVID, but I'm almost positive it's COVID, unfortunately. But, yeah, sniff. There's gonna be some sniffling. I probably shouldn't be doing this right now, because my throat is kind of sore, but, I mean, I've waited a month, and I've waited 2 months to play this. Again, I've already played this. Again, I've played every game in this series. So we streamed Ace Attorney back in September. I streamed Justice for All in October. And then last month I took off because of Mario Wonder and Mario RPG. So, but I'm back now, and we're going to start the third and final game of the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney trilogy. This is Trials and Tribulations, which is 5 cases. It is not as long as the first game, though. The final case does not drag as much as the last case in that game did. Just 1 second. Alright, sorry about that. So I'm back. I could talk about the Game Awards and stuff, but I don't want to bother. I just want to get to this, because I've been jonesing to play this. So let's start episode 1, Turnabout Memories. And this goes off the rails from the beginning, so hang on. No PNG tuber yet, that'll be next week. Dumpster fire there did it for you. Yes, exactly. Ugh. How did I get into this mess? Sorry if my voices are off. Again, got a bit of a sore throat and possibly COVID. Probably COVID. Why? Why did I do that? Hey, Ephraim. That girl. You shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, it's none of your business. I'm telling you for your sake. If you continue to see her, it's going to be bad news. You're lying! Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that woman. That girl. Stop it! Don't talk about her like that! It wasn't me. I didn't do it! "5 years earlier, Mia Fey, second trial." So there you go. There's the big twist right at the beginning. We're not. This is 5 years earlier, and we're not playing as Phoenix. April 11th, 9:40 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby Number 3. Whew. It's finally time. Kinda nervous. Oh, Mr. Grossberg. Good morning. Mia, please calm yourself down. You're going to get yourself arrested for suspicious behavior, you know? What are you talking about? I'm relaxed, Mr. Grossberg. Look at me, I'm relaxed. Let go of my lapels. You obviously haven't got the temperament to be a lawyer. I'm so sorry. It's just that I'm so nervous today. Oh, that's right. This is your first time in the big leagues, isn't it? Well, never you fear, my dear. I'm Marvin Grossberg. I'm at your service. Actually, this is my second time in court. Still, you surprised me. What with your earnest request last night? Let me handle this case, you suddenly said, and quite forcefully, too. Gotta turn down my mic a little bit here. I just found out yesterday. About the case, I mean. What? And you've already learned all the relevant facts? Well, about that. You see, I mean, of course I have. I think. Oh dear. In any case, don't let our client see you're so nervous. You see that poor young man in the pink sweater over there? That's our client. Good morning there, everybody. Good morning. Try to keep smiling, Mia. I just want to say, I'll give it all I've got. Yup, I'll be fine. No problem. Perfect. He's sick, I'm sick. Oh, what's wrong? Do you have a cold or something, Mr. Wright? Actually, it's Wright. Like the Flying Brothers. People screw it up all the time. And yes, I have a cold. That's what this mask is for. My doc says this way I won't give it to anyone else. Be kind to others, he says. Right, Mr. Wright. You have nothing to fear in court today. If you are truly innocent, I promise I will save you. Please let go of my shirt. Yeah, that's a client. That's the client, all right. A nerd, yeah. He's so like you'll see how much different he is here compared to how he is while you're playing as him. That's right. He's the one on trial, not you. He's the one who should be nervous. You need to stay strong for your client, Mia. My name is Mia Fey. I'm still pretty new at this lawyer thing. The first time I appeared in court was over a year ago. But that trial traumatized me so badly, thought I'd never set foot in another courtroom. It's been 1 year since then, and well, here I am again. But this time I'm going to win. For my client, and for myself. Perfect time for that drum to hit in. April 11th, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom Number 2. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Phoenix Wright. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. He's got hair now. Yep. The defense today is Miss Mia Fey, was it? Yes, Your Honor. Is there a problem? I was under the impression that Marvin Grossberg was to be leading the defense. Yes, well, you see, Mr. Grossberg had a bit of an emergency. Emergency? But isn't that him standing there right next to you? Yes, well, you're just a rookie. Are you sure you can handle this? Don't let him scare you, Mia. Give him your toughest look. Of course, Your Honor. I think. Well, Mr. Payne, your opening statement, please. Well. I can't believe a veteran like me has to spend his time babysitting a new defense lawyer. Don't worry, little girl. It will all be over soon. What was that all about? Was he trying to trash-talk me? Now then, I'd like to proceed with a summary of events on the day in question. The incident occurred on the campus of Ivy University. The murder victim was a student named Doug Swallow. He was a fourth-year student studying pharmacology. Weh, yeah. Sounds like he was a very bright young man. Yes, well, next we have a photo taken at the scene of the crime. Students discovered the scene shortly after the murder. They found the victim's body and the defendant, who had obviously bungled his getaway. They then called the police. That certainly makes the defendant look very suspicious indeed. Very well. The court accepts this photo into the record as evidence. Crime took place behind an IVU building. Yes, sus. By the way, I can't quite tell the cause of death from this photo. Sorry, I was trying to pull it up. Where is it? Your reputation for sagacity is quite well earned, Your Honor. The truth is that this victim died a rather unusual death. An unusual death? It was at the airport terminal, where the planes were landing. What do you mean, Mr. Payne? Well, perhaps the defense would like to take this question. Huh? A simple question. Thought I might loosen you up a bit. I'm a genteel man, if you will. A what? Stand up to him, Mia. Show him what you're made of. Ah, a perfect opportunity. Well, what was it? The cause. Go on. Teal, yeah. Please say you at least know this much. I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to read through the whole file. Oh, my hemorrhoids are beginning to act up. Now see here! The details of the case are filed under the court record. But you knew that already, didn't you? Ah, the court record. I think I could see that by pressing the R button. All of the weapons we need can be found in the court record. Take a good hard look at the data there and think carefully before you answer, my dear. Yes, sir. I'll do just that. Gotta stay calm. Can't let that prosecutor get the better of me. Proof of my profession. The first and last time I wore my attorney's badge was a year ago. Doug's autopsy report. Date and time of death 4/9 at 3 p.m. Cause of death was a fatal electric shock. Marvin Grossberg, 61, my superior and the head of Grossberg Law Offices. Phoenix Wright, 21, my client, a third-year art student at Ivy University. He currently has a cold. Doug Swallow, 22, the victim, who's a fourth-year pharmacology student at Ivy University. We'll worry about her later. Winston Payne, age 49, the prosecutor for this trial, a veteran lawyer with a little too much confidence. Look at his face. Look at that smile. It's so weird looking. He looks like a monkey. Also, apparently his age changed. In the original version of the first game, he was a lot younger than I think he was supposed to be, and then they changed it retroactively when the DS version came out to match what they changed it to in the third game. If I'm not mistaken. The court record. Okay, let's take a look. If I just press the R button here. Now then, would the attorney for the defense please answer the question? What was the cause of death? Asphyxiation, electrocution, hypothermia. You don't get penalized for saying this one wrong. Well, I think you'll find it was a case of asphyxiation. Asphyxiation, huh? Mia, what are you doing? Oh, it's stuffy in here. I could hardly breathe. No one's asking how you feel. Please make sure to properly read the court record. I'm sorry. I'll take a better look. Hang in there, Mia. Okay. Oh, that was me. That was Mia saying that. Hypothermia, I believe. Mr. Grossberg? Does it suddenly feel very cold in here to you? That's because your absurd reply has brought a chill to the courtroom. I'm so sorry. Look at the court record more carefully, would you? How can you expect to win a case this way? I'll ask you once again. According to the court record, it was a fatal electric shock. In other words, electrocution. Electrocution? But how could such a thing happen? Did the murderer use some type of new super powerful stun gun, perhaps? And it wouldn't have killed him. The answer to that will become crystal clear as this trial proceeds, Your Honor. But before that, there's one more vital issue. What's that? Why, motive, of course. Apparently there was some bad blood between the victim and the defendant. Bad blood? What do you mean? Oopsie, I'm terribly sorry. You're the defense attorney, so you must know all about it. He used a death ray, yeah. I shouldn't be stealing your spotlight like this. I really don't like this guy's smug attitude. That's Winston Payne for you. He's one smooth operator, if you catch my drift. They don't call him the rookie killer for nothing, you know. Now then, let's hear from the defense. What was the source of the bad blood between the victim and the defendant? And this time I would like to see some supporting evidence. Evidence? Oh, no need to get all worked up over this. As I said, all our weapons can be found on the court record. Find the evidence you need and then shove it into old Greybeard's face. Yes, sir. Into old Greybeard's face. Mr. Grossberg, try to set a better example for the young lady. Mia, evidence isn't the only thing in the court record. People's profiles are as well. You could toggle between the profiles and evidence with the R button, so be sure to go over it all. Now then, let's see what you've got. What was the cause of the bad blood between Phoenix Wright and the victim? Dalia Hawthorne, age 20. Phoenix Wright's girlfriend, dated the victim Doug Swallow up until 8 months ago. Phoenix Wright managed to bag a girl like this. A nerd like him, with a woman like her. Anyway, Hawthorne. That's a name. The reason for the bad blood between the two of them was this woman here. Dalia Hawthorne, was it? Very good, Miss Fay. You seem to have picked up on at least this much. This woman is the girlfriend of the defendant, Phoenix Wright. But up until about 8 months ago, she was with the victim, Mr. Swallow. Clearly she has some part to play in this story. Oh, he's done it again. Before the cross-examination starts, he's already got the judge thinking like he wants. Very well, Mr. Payne. Please call your first witness. If it pleases the court, the prosecution would like to call Mr. Phoenix Wright. Ace Cluck Turney. Hey, Atman. Yeah. What, to the defendant himself? Well, Miss Fay? It's fine. After all, Mr. Wright is innocent, right? The defense has no objection. Very well. The court calls Mr. Phoenix Wright to the witness stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Oh, yeah, my name is Phoenix Wright. My job is, well, right now I guess I'm a suspect. No, he means what you did before you were arrested. Hold on a second. I'm trying to make this sound a little better. Oh! I was a university student. Mr. Wright. Oh, I can't pull it up and down like that. Damn it. The one-time method acting would work, and it's gonna get in the way because of my headphones. Mr. Wright, you understand that you- Wait, what? I didn't get to read that. You understand that you're under suspicion of killing Mr. Doug Swallow, but I didn't do it. I'm innocent, I tell you. I'm telling you, I was Will the defendant please refrain from passing his cold on to the rest of us? It seems the witness has something he wants to say. Well then, Mr. Wright, please tell us about your relation to the victim. Right away, Your Honor. The victim and I. Our first testimony of the game. I admit I was there, but I'm not a killer. All I did was find his body. I hardly knew the guy to begin with. I never even talked to that stuck-up British wannabe. I see. So you hardly knew the victim. Right. Like I said, I'm not a killer. Whew. Looks like the judge understands. You're being naive, you know. Too naive. Huh? It seems that you've forgotten one small thing, young lady. And that would be... Not a killer, just a dumbass, yeah. This witness still has to undergo something called cross-examination. Cross-examination? He's right, and it's the defense's duty to carry out the cross-examination. The purpose is to determine if a witness's testimony contains any contradictions. Contradictions? If a witness is lying, their statements will conflict with the court record. But Mr. Wright is my client. Even if he is your client, in court all lies must be struck down. As a lawyer, that is your duty, you see. What does he mean by that? Is he saying that testimony just now? That there was a lie? A contradiction? Now then, your cross-examination, if you please, Miss Fay. Haha, duty, yeah. Please, Mr. Wright, tell me you haven't been lying. You wouldn't do that to me, would you? The victim and I. I admit I was there. When you say there, you mean the place where the victim was murdered? Yeah, sort of. The place where something happened, anyway. Something? You can't hide what happened. We have photographic evidence. Anyway, Mr. Wright, what were you doing at the scene of the crime? I thought you said you didn't know the victim, Mr. Swallow. It was just a coincidence. We bumped into each other by accident. A coincidence, huh? But I'm not a killer. All I did was... Anyway. Again, I'm doing the thing where I reread the lines. You say you found the body, so who called the police? Huh? Unfortunately, it was some other students that notified the police. Other students? That's correct. They were witnesses. Should have spit instead of swallow. Goddamn, dude. Witnesses who saw the defendant standing there next to the body, in shock. Boy, needs some Sprite and chicken soup, yeah. Look how angry he is. What? Is this true, Mr. Wright? Could you stop sneezing every time you're in a bind? He looks cool. He kinda does. Well, it's true that I was pretty shocked when I found the body, but I hardly knew the guy to begin with. So you didn't know his face or even his name, right? Right. Well, no. That is, I mean... So which is it? Did you know him or not? Now see here, you can't avoid answering the question by sneezing all day. Yeah, he is very different here. Well, I guess I did know his name. News to me? Why didn't you tell me that before? I heard he used to date Dalia. Who was this Dalia person? He's still a dork back then. He was a bigger dork back then. Yes, that would be the defendant's lover, Miss Dalia Hawthorne. Oh, I see. Young love. So bittersweet. But that's all I knew about him. I never even talked to that stuck-up British wannabe. Mr. Wright, you stated the following in your testimony. I hardly knew the guy to begin with. That's right. I mean, why would I even... That doesn't sound right. If you hardly knew him, then why would you say that the victim was a stuck-up British wannabe? Well, Mr. Wright? No, it wasn't me. I'm not a killer, I swear. Mr. Wright, I will give you an opportunity to revise your testimony. How is it that you knew the victim was, as you put it, a British wannabe? Yes, well... He was always walking around with a huge Union Jack on the back of his shirt. Did you see it at the crime scene? The Union Jack, I mean? Yeah, that's right. I saw it at the crime scene. That's why I figured he must love British stuff, see? It's true, cross my heart. I swear I didn't do it. He's acting fishier than the salmon I ate last night. May I ask you something, Miss Fay? Yes, Your Honor? What is it now? Who's this person, anyway? This Union Jack fellow? The Union Jack is the name of the United Kingdom's flag. Oh, I see. So you mean like the Stars and Stripes, right? As usual, Your Honor, your insight astounds me. Hey, something just occurred to me. Isn't there something strange about this bit just now? Yeah, there's a contradiction here. They had to add that in case someone didn't know. Yeah, of course. Mr. Grossberg. Quickly now, show that boy you mean business. With evidence, I mean. Okay, Mia, check the court record carefully. Oh, my dear, do you think you can manage that on your own from this point? I can handle it myself. 1 year ago, I was in a courtroom just like this. I could do it. I could handle this myself. You mustn't try to bite off more than you could chew, Mia. I'll be fine. I know what I have to do. Remember, you could always press him to get more information. Oh, and one more thing. When you're going to state a contradiction, make sure you present some definitive proof. Okay, Mia, one more time, from the very beginning of his testimony. Union Jack has no relation to Jack in the Box and its properties, TM. I see no Union Jack there. Also, I apologize. I'm going to take a quick second here. I'm going to pause the recording because I need to answer someone's message really quick. Are you certain you saw the Union Jack? Yeah, I'm sure. It was right there on his back. Miss Fay, is there some point to this line of questioning? Your Honor, please take another look at the crime scene photo. As you can see, there's absolutely nothing on the victim's back. Are you taking medicines? I'm taking the over-the-counter stuff that I have. Nessie's taking Paxlovid. which I'm like, I don't even want to try to get a prescription for that. It's gonna fuck up my taste buds. I don't feel that sick, honestly. I just have a sore throat and a bit of a phlegmy throat. It's phlegm. That's why I have a sore throat. It's all phlegm. Hey, wait a minute. He's wearing a leather jacket. The Union Jack was on the back of his t-shirt he was wearing. I was under the impression that you accidentally came across the body. But if that was really the case, then you wouldn't know that, would you? You'd have no idea at all what he was wearing underneath that jacket. Mr. Wright, you've been lying to me. Please forgive me. Mia, you've made your client cry. Let him. That P on his chest doesn't stand for Phoenix anyway. It stands for pussy. No, it stands for pansy. In the, Actually, no, wait, that's an outtake. It doesn't stand for anything. It does stand for... I think that's what she's implying. I can't believe I trusted him. Mr. Wright was all wrong. That was an impressive bit of cross-examination. Thank you for uncovering the defendant's lies for me. It's quite clear this man simply did not stumble upon the crime scene. Uh-oh. Did I go too far? By the way, Mr. Wright, you seem to have a rather bad cold. Have you taken any medicine for it? Hey, EV2. Yeah, I took some, but... Was the medicine you took an over-the-counter brand called Cold Killer X? It's really weird that you just asked me if I was taking medicine, and I just said I was taking over-the-counter medicine. Also, fun fact, in the Japanese version, it's Cold Killer Z. They changed it to an X in the English version. Yeah, that's right. It kills colds good. Hey, wait a second. How did you know I'm a big fan of Cold Killer X? Would you happen to have that medicine with you right now? Well, actually, I seem to have lost it somewhere. I'm still sick, but I'm okay. How are you doing, Evie? He lost it? Does this even have anything to do with the case? Mr. Wright, shall I tell you where your cold medicine is right now? Huh? Your Honor, I'd like to take you to take a... I'd like you to take another look... Oh my god. I'd like you to take a look at another photo from the crime scene. There, I know my lines, damn it. Oh, what's this? In the victim's hand, it's Cold Killer X. No, that's clearly Cold Killer V. Yes, but even I've got a bottle of Cold Killer V in my apartment. If X. Oh man, my brain is scrambled. Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, again, in the Japanese version, it was Cold Killer Z. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that argument won't work. There's no doubt as to who this bottle of Cold Killer X belongs to. Especially since Mr. Wright's fingerprints are all over it. What? Sensing his murderous intent, Mr. Swallow must have picked up the bottle of medicine, dropped by Mr. Wright, and hid it in his hand. His purpose in doing so can only have been to identify his killer as Phoenix Wright. Order! Order in the court! You know what else won't work? Your hair. Yeah. Don't worry. Just watch. Just watch. Your Honor, I'd like to present this photo and bottle as evidence. Very well. The court will accept them into the record. Victim's watch stopped at the time of death. Cole found clutched in the victim's hand, covered in Wright's fingerprints. Also, the victim's wristwatch was broken. Broken? Yes, it ceased functioning when a large wave of electricity passed through it. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have some sort of explanation for all of this? This is really bad. Oh, my buttocks, my poor hemorrhoids. Doing well, just been trying to get faster at work. If I'm going to get a specific number for the rate I'm picking items for customers, I'm vastly improved. So close to getting what they want. Well, that's good. What really happened? The truth is, I went because he called me. He was in the pharmacology department, so we agreed to meet at 2:45 behind that building. We talked for a bit, and then around 3 we split up. Then later, when I went back, I found him lying there. I've been taking Cold Killer X for the last 2 or 3 days, but I lost my bottle of it around lunchtime on the day of the accident. Mr. Wright, that's completely different from the testimony you gave previously. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I was afraid you wouldn't believe the truth. You'll forgive me if I say I hardly find your current testimony any more credible. Miss Fay, please begin your cross-examination. Oh, please, Mr. Wright, don't tell any more lies. I have to keep muting myself because I have to keep sniffling. Had you ever met the victim before then? No, never! But that day he called up to me and wanted to tell me That day he called me up and told me he wanted to talk about Dalia. And this Dalia person is... my, it's kind of embarrassing. She's my, sweetheart. Oh! What was that for, Mia? Oh, I'm so sorry. I just felt like slapping something all of a sudden. Dalia Hawthorne was also the lover of the murder victim, Doug Swallow. Wonder why Mia reacted that way. Before she met Mr. Wright, that is. So it was one of those nasty love triangles, I see. He was in the pharmacology department, so he agreed to meet at 2:45 behind the building. I was like, dude, I'm not into dicks like that, but I'll meet you there. Just don't show me anything weird. I'm sorry I had to do that. That's from the Ace Attorney outtakes. After I finish this game, we're watching that. we're gonna watch it on stream together after I finish this game. Because they're really funny. Was it Mr. Swallow who indicated you should meet at 2:45? Yes, when I finish this game, we will do a 40-minute, like, special segment where we just watch the outtakes together. Yeah, and we were both there right on time. You said the victim was in the pharmacology department, correct? Yeah, he was studying how to manufacture and improve pharmaceuticals. Everyone called him the alchemist of IVU. An alchemist? I see. I gotta admit, I was a little suspicious. He had a whole laboratory and everything. It was filled with chemicals and strange machines that run on high-voltage electricity. Oh, how fascinating. He sounds like he was quite an ambitious young man. What do I do? Maybe I should ask him for some more details? About the timing of the meeting. So you're absolutely certain you met at 2:45? Yeah, pretty sure. That's the time class ends. But they're always doing experiments, so it doesn't matter much. Experiments? Yeah, those pharmacology guys are always in the lab whipping up something. Well, it looks like he's right about the time, anyway. Witness, let's go on with your testimony. I'm sweeping through this. I'm gonna grab a drink. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about the pharmacology department. Well, okay, sure. I don't know all that much, though. A little bit earlier in your testimony, you said something interesting. You said the departments use strange machines that run on high-voltage electricity. That's right, and they sure do look dangerous. They use non-standard voltages, so there's high-voltage cables everywhere. High-voltage cables? Yeah, there were all electrical poles set up around the building. The high-voltage cables run overhead around the roof. Finally, I think we're getting somewhere. So what was it you were talking about? You know, that maybe we should hang out again sometime. Hang out again sometime. Wish that were true. So you say you went back. Yeah, that's when I found the body. Yes, but why did you go back in the first place? Weren't you angry with him? Well, that's right, I was. Then why, Mr. Wright? Why did you go back there? I thought maybe we could make up? Judging by the atmosphere, I'm pretty sure no one is buying this. It's rather unusual to catch a cold this time of year, isn't it? It's April! Tons of people are getting colds in April. Yeah, I always get a little careless when the weather starts to warm up. I guess I shouldn't sleep with the window open this early in spring, huh? I suppose common sense is not always common. I think he also says he sleeps with his belly exposed. So, did anyone else know that you were taking cold medicine? Well, I always took one after meals, so I'm pretty sure all my friends knew about it. On the day of the incident, what did you do for lunch? Huh? What does that have to do with anything? You can never be too sure. I always eat with Dolly. Just the two of us. Dolly's homemade lunches are just the greatest! Her mini omelets are magically delicious. Ow! Why did you punch me in the jaw? Oh, I'm so sorry. I just felt like hurting someone all of a sudden. Wow, Mia really doesn't like Phoenix talking about this girl. I think that's enough for now. So the defendant and the victim met at approximately the time of his death. And then the defendant returned to the scene for some unknown reason. I'm not entirely convinced by his explanation about the medicine bottle either. Let me be frank here, Mr. Wright. Oh, that's your name? Cool, good to finally know it. Your testimony cannot be trusted. Well, what do you mean? I knew it was too much work for a little girl. However, there is still one mystery that remains. There is, Your Honor. How the murder was carried out, of course. Just how was the victim electrocuted? I don't believe the murder weapon has been produced yet, correct? Well, that is, You are correct, Your Honor. So how exactly was Mr. Swallow killed? If I could somehow establish how it was done, maybe I could still come out of this mess smelling like a rose. Your Honor? Yes, Miss Faye? I believe that if we were to piece together everything we've heard up until now, we should be able to solve the mystery of how Mr. Swallow died. That would be most impressive. Quite the brash statement coming from a rookie. But even a beginner like you must understand the basic rules of the court, yes? An attorney must be able to substantiate their arguments with evidence. Of course I know that. Actually, I'd totally forgotten about that. Now then, Miss Faye, let me see what you've got. Show how you believe the victim was electrocuted. 305 for that watch. Note that there's two things off here. If you could see, there's two things that don't make sense here. As for the cause of death, I'd say this picture captures it quite well. What? But there's nothing even remotely resembling a murder weapon here. I'm afraid the defense is going to have to explain this in a bit more detail. Miss Faye, where exactly in the photo is this murder weapon? Right here. You can see a spark coming out of it. Well, naturally, it's right here. That's... What is that? A severed electrical cable, I believe, Your Honor. Remember the testimony we've heard. The machines the pharmacology students use in their experiments require high voltage. And because of that, there are special high-voltage cables strung up everywhere. So then the high-voltage cable... Yes, the high-voltage cable is the cause of death. That is the most likely explanation. It certainly sounds plausible. Well, Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this? Well, I believe some praise is in order. Don't toy with me, old man. Now, the victim's cause of death may have indeed been a high-voltage cable. However, I want you to think about what that really implies. The only one who had the opportunity to use this cable as a murder weapon was... the defendant. Sneeze. That much is certainly true. Yes, and that's not all. We have proof. Irrefutable proof that will establish that Mr. Wright was the murderer. You do? Well, what is it? His fingerprints. Fingerprints? You mean the defendant's fingerprints are on something besides the medicine bottle? Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. As you can see, the victim is wearing a leather jacket. And as you may know, leather holds fingerprints quite well. You mean? Yes, it was quite clearly imprinted on the chest area of the victim's jacket. The palm print of the defendant's very own hand.
Whoa, what?
I can only think of one way Mr. Wright could have left a print like that. Intent on murder, he squarely pushed the victim towards the severed electrical cable.
Order, order, order! That's enough! I think we can conclude there's no reason to continue with this cross-examination. Stick a fork in us. We're done.
Mr. Grossberg?
My hemorrhoids never lie, Mia. This show is over. I knew that boy was guilty from the first time I saw him.
No, you're wrong! Mr. Wright is innocent.
No further evidence is required to convince me of this man's guilt.
Your Honor!
At this time, I'm prepared to render a verdict in this case. Do you have something further to add, Miss Fay?
Is this what you want, Mr. Wright? You still haven't told us the truth. The whole truth. If you don't say something now, the judge is going to hand down his verdict.
But I can't. I just can't say it.
If I told you what really happened, then I'd be... It's okay, Mr. Wright. I'm your attorney. You could trust me. Yeah, they reuse this song from 2 as like a definitive moment type theme. This song actually comes up a couple times in this game. This is the courtroom lobby from the second one.
Miss Fay,
no matter what it is you have to say, I believe in you and I'll represent you to the very end. We've already established the defendant's guilt. There's no further need for him to say anything. Wait a minute. Mr. Wright? I'll tell you what really happened. But I've already told you, Mr. Wright, there's no need for further... I did it. I admit it. I pushed him. It's my fault. My fault that Doug Swallow was dead. That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, it's none of your business. I'm telling you for your sake, if you continue to see her, it's going to be bad news. You're lying. Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Stop it! Don't talk about her like that. That's a different face than the one he makes in the GBA version. If I'm not mistaken, the GBA version, he's kind of got like grit teeth. He looks like a huge nerd when he's doing it. Unless that's always how it was supposed to be, and I just didn't notice because it was low def.
What you just said, was that the truth?
Yes, I was afraid. Afraid that if I told the truth, everyone would think I was the murderer for sure.
Well, as things currently stand, we're all absolutely convinced you are.
Please give me one more chance to explain. This time I swear I'll tell the whole truth. It'll be okay, won't it, Miss Fay? I believe in you. Oh, thank you. Still can't believe it. He really did push the victim.
Oh, it feels like my hemorrhoids are doing the Harlem Shake.
When I pushed the one victim, it's only one. That guy, he was talking bad about Dalia. I lost my temper and gave him a shove. At that moment, I heard some kind of loud noise. A little while after I left, I started to get worried. So I went back, but he was just lying there, dead. Well, the explanation is really quite simple. When you pushed him, Mr. Swallow flew back and touched the electrical cable. He died from the shock, and that, as they say, is that.
A simple explanation indeed.
At the time of the incident, a light rain had been falling. Wet from the rain, the victim was more easily electrocuted. But when I pushed him, there weren't any electrical cables nearby. If there had been something like that, even I would have noticed it. That's true. Even a doofus like him couldn't miss that. Is that how doofus is spelled? That was D-O-O-F-U-S. Miss Faye, let me warn you right now that if your cross-examination doesn't yield any new facts... Never seen doofus spelled with 2 U's before. Yeah, same. Also, hello Jinji Mang. How you doing? I probably messed that up. I'm sorry, I'm a little sick. Thank you for the follow earlier, too. I appreciate it. I intend to deliver my verdict without further delay. Are we clear on that? Yes, Your Honor. Don't give up, Mia. If he is innocent, there must be some kind of evidence somewhere that'll prove it. So what kinds of things did Mr. Swallow say to you? He said all sorts of terrible things about Dolly. He said that she was a bad girl. This shade comes list doofus is a variant of doofus. Learned something today. Hey. Well, there you go. There we all go. Is that all? Yep. Well, Miss Faye, you heard him yourself. Oh boy, you're not doing yourself any favors here, Mr. Wright. Please don't make this harder for me than it already is. Anyway, after he said that, I just... Had a fire up your Scrabble app. Lost my temper, gave him a shove. Can you tell me about... How are you doing, by the way? It's nice to see you. It's nice to finally talk to you. Can you tell me about... Why am I tripping over that line? Can you tell me about what happened in a little more detail? That guy, he just said what he wanted to say to me. And then he put on the jacket he was holding and started to leave. That's when I lost my temper and flew into a furious frenzy. Why does he look so cool here compared to how he does on the stand? Not usually up this late. Mr. Y Phoenix is wearing that weird pink sweater. Because he just is. He just is. I just gave him a light, gentle shove to the chest that knocked him down on his back, apparently. And when you did that, there were no severed cables anywhere to be seen? Right, there was nothing like that at all. But is it possible that you merely overlooked it? Well, I guess it's possible. What are you doing? Don't let that guy steamroll over you like cheap asphalt. I believe what's important here is the moment the push occurred. Let's continue on with the testimony, witness. A loud noise? And what would you say that loud noise was, Mr. Wright? I'm not sure, but it was really loud. It was like, snap! You know, come to think of it, I wonder what that was. Not me burping right there. Clearly, Your Honor, it was the sound of the victim being electrocuted. You're not qualified to decide that. What should I do? I'm treading on some dangerous ground here. Ask for more details. Mr. Wright, that loud noise you heard may be extremely important. So try to remember what it was. How do I put it? It was like a sharp crack. Ah! Could it have been... Yes? Could it have been... Hurry up and tell us! When I pushed him, he dropped the umbrella he was holding. He fell right on top of it, and it broke. That was probably the noise I heard. An umbrella, huh? And did that umbrella belong to the victim? Yeah, it was a plastic umbrella. Cheap and frail, kind of like the owner. Wow! Taking just random digs at the victim. Then again, I wish I had any kind of umbrella. I was totally soaked to the bone. Miss Faye, what do you think? Is there something important in that testimony just now? Well, of course it's important. Of course it's not important. This is it, Mia. The new information you've been waiting for. Of course it's important. No, this cheap umbrella is more than important. It's vital. I want to officially have it entered into the testimony. Ha! How perfectly fitting. Flimsy information for a flimsy lawyer.
The court agrees to the defense's request. Witness, please add the bit about the cheap umbrella to your testimony.
After I shoved him, he fell down on top of his cheap umbrella. So Mr. Swallow fell on top of his umbrella, and you're certain of this? Yeah, it was right there under him. Actually, if I hadn't been under him, I was planning on borrowing it for myself. The umbrella, you mean? Oh yeah, you see, I was wearing this sweater here. Dolly stayed up late for nights at a time, knitting it for me. I didn't want the rain to dampen the handmade symbol of her love.
Oh! My stomach is not to be used as your personal soccer ball, Mia.
I'm so sorry.
Continue with your testimony, witness.
A little while after I left, I started to get worried. After you shoved the victim, did you leave the scene right away? Yes, I did. I admit it. I was furious. You left without even checking Mr. Swallow's condition? Well, yeah. But like I said, I got worried about him later. So I went back. At the time, did you see anyone else at the scene of the crime? No. Nobody. Jeez, could that stupid cough possibly sound any phonier?
In that case, it's very hard to believe someone else could have been the murderer. Unless we could find something that shows his innocence from the testimony, my dear. I'm afraid the judge will make his final decision with no remorse whatsoever.
Yes, sir. Right now I need more info. Info that'll help me turn up some contradictions. Oh, man. Snotty again. Cheap umbrella. If he fell on top of his umbrella and died there, then why is the umbrella feet away from him in this photo? He wasn't on top of it. Why didn't you testify about the umbrella from the very beginning? Come on, if I had mentioned that, I would have been able to counter the prosecution's arguments earlier. What do you mean by that? Take another look at the crime scene photo. According to Mr. Wright, the victim fell on top of his umbrella. Sorry about that, I had to burp really loudly. Whew. However, if you look closely, the umbrella is nowhere near the victim. Actually, it's by the electrical pole.
You're absolutely right.
The conclusion here is obvious. After the defendant left, the victim moved from where he fell. In other words, after he was pushed by the defendant, Mr. Swallow was still alive. No! It can't be.
Order! 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 The victim, he moved.
Fucking Fishmo, god damn it.
Mr. Payne, the umbrella in this photo, where is it now?
Well, it was collected by the police at the crime scene.
I want to present it as evidence immediately.
Owned by the victim, found broken near an electrical pole at the crime scene. But the umbrella could have simply been blown there by the wind. According to the testimony, the victim fell on top of the umbrella. There's simply no way it could have been blown there by the wind. But
I know this matter of the umbrella seems relatively trivial, but as long as the smallest doubt remains, I cannot render final judgment.
No! Look at his hair fly up.
I must say, I still find it hard to believe that a huge hole has been blown in the prosecution's case by the defendant's testimony.
Phoenix's testimony. The victim fell on top of his umbrella. There was a loud sound when this happened. Phoenix's testimony.
Well done, Mia. Mr. Payne, what are you chuckling about?
Pardon me, Your Honor. It seems I was expecting too much of a free ride. It was foolish to think I could establish guilt through cross-examination alone. Bouncing back thanks to the bean juice? That's going to become very relevant in another case.
I'm afraid I don't follow what you're saying.
Let me guess, you have another witness. Exactly. And this witness's testimony will be incontrovertible.
Well, who is this witness?
Miss Dalia Hawthorne.
Dalia Hawthorne? You don't mean Dolly?
I do, Your Honor. The defendant's very own lover is a witness to this whole thing. That's right, she was at the scene of the crime when the murder took place.
What?
I'm sorry to break the bad news to you, my dear. Bad news? You couldn't be more wrong. Actually, I've been waiting for this. You can't be serious.
Mia, what do you mean by that? I think this is a good point for us to stop at. Court will now enter a 20-minute recess. Afterwards, we will listen to the testimony of Miss Dalia Hawthorne.
April 11th, 11:52 a.m. Miss Faye, I'm sorry about what happened back there. It's alright. At least you told us the truth in the end, Mr. Wright.
Yeah. So I guess I could start to relax then, huh? Relax, my boy. You can't be serious after hiding such important facts.
But the next witness is my Dolly, right? She'll save me. I just know she will. Why do you think that? Huh? What do you mean? She's the love of my life, that's why. The love of your life, huh? Would you mind telling me more about you and Miss Dalia Hawthorne? Sure, no problem. Dalia and we first met about 8 months ago, here in this very courthouse. Actually, I'm studying to be a lawyer on the side. Anyway, one day she and I just bumped into each other in the reading room downstairs. That's why I really think it was fate that brought us together. As soon as I first set eyes on her, I knew she was the one for me. Oh, here, take a look at this. She gave this to me the day we met as a symbol of our love. Notice how Mia reacted there. She had been wearing it around her neck that day, but then she took it off, but before she gave it to me, she said, I want you to carry this. So she gave it to us as a present, I see. This darling little bottle is filled with my memories of my darling little Dolly. It certainly is a little bottle, alright. It makes me so happy I show it to everyone I meet. I want to share my happiness with the whole world. Dalia's present, borrowed from Phoenix Wright. A small bottle necklace given to Wright on the day they met. He shows it to everyone. Anyway, so after that, you and Miss Hawthorne started dating? Yeah, but she's so shy. Every time I see her, she always says the same thing to me. Please give it back now.
What a strange girl asking for a present back like that.
By the way, Mr. Wright, the day you first met Dalia Hawthorne 8 months ago, it wouldn't happen to have been on August 27th, would it? Huh? Yeah, it was! But how did you... This happened on August 27th, right here in this courthouse. What's this? A newspaper clipping? Let's see. Murder in the courthouse? Murder?
What are you reading there? Let me see that.
Another Ace Attorney 2 song here.
Oh, I see. Mia, I think I understand what you're trying to say. And I think I understand why you suddenly took such a keen interest in this case. You believe there's some connection between these two cases, am I correct?
An article from August 28th, almost 8 months ago. I hope you don't mind, Mr. Grossberg. I need to finish this myself.
Ah, yes, but I'm afraid what you have will not be enough, my dear. I'll go and have a look in the downstairs reading room and see what else I can find.
Thank you.
I want to do whatever I can to be of help to you, Mia.
Since, you know, I sold out your mother behind your back.
Well, it looks like recess is all about over. We'd all better get up. It looks like recess is about over. We'd all get bed. I didn't do anything bad, I swear.
I guess so. That recess sure seemed longer than 20 minutes, though. Yeah, if you don't remember, in Ace Attorney 1, Grossberg you find out that he sold out Misty Faye to Red White. And that's why he wants to help Mia, because he feels guilty. Turnabout memories. April 11th, 12:13 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 2.
Court will now reconvene. Mr. Payne, call your next witness, please.
This next person is someone who witnessed the crime as it happened. The prosecution calls Miss Dalia Hawthorne to the stand. So cute. What's with the stiff silence? I was about to say stuffy atmosphere, which I believe is the fan translation. By the way, if you didn't know, there is... Back when the first Ace Attorney game came out in English, a group of fan translators translated specifically this case of the GBA version of 3. And I played that back when it first came out, so a lot of the names and like references in the fan translation I keep thinking of when I'm reading this. Like what was it? Doug Swallow's name in the fan translation was Jack Richford. Dalia's name was Dolores Willow. And those are the only 2 names that really pop up in that case that are new, so. But actually, that then later influenced the official translation, because you see Phoenix calls her Dolly, which is what the fan translators had Phoenix called Dolores in the fan translation. Only in that's D-O-L-L-Y instead of D-O-L-L-I-E. But I think that was an intentional nod to the fan translation.
In my long career as a judge, I have been deceived by many witnesses. It's my job to doubt, to take no one at their word. But in your case, I must admit that you radiate a glow of complete sincerity.
I can't believe he actually said that. Ahem. Oh, now then, witness. Could you please state your full name?
Don't worry, sweetie, there's no need to be nervous.
If anyone says anything rude, you can be sure I'll cut them right down to size.
And I'll bash them with my gavel.
I love how they look straight at me when they say that. Thank you for calming my nerves. You're all so nice. I almost feel right at home.
Not at all. It was nothing.
If we may move on now, what is your full name and occupation? My name is Dalia Hawthorne. I'm a junior in literature at Ivy University. I just want to say, it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence.
The honor is all mine. No, the honor is all mine. Well, we know whose milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Sir? Is there something I can help you with?
You just go on and say whatever's on your mind.
I'm sure there must be some kind of mistake. Feeny would never kill anyone. I just know it.
Yes. I could see why you'd say that.
She's going to be a tough witness, alright. It only took her 12 seconds to wrap them all around her little finger.
Now then, please proceed with your testimony. Let's hear about what you witnessed on the day of the incident, if you please.
Oh, I never actually checked the, Murder in the courthouse. Very little information is being disclosed at this time, since the victim of yesterday's incident in the district courthouse cafeteria is said to have been a lawyer. However, police are questioning the 19-year-old female college student who was sitting with the victim. She's 20, so if that was 8 months ago, could have been her. What I witnessed. I've been planning to go back to Feeny's place after class was over. Feeny and Dougie, they were talking behind the building. Then suddenly, Dougie got all wobbly and just collapsed. That's when Feeny noticed I was there. I went to go find some other students and they called the authorities.
I don't know what to say. According to you, Miss Hawthorne, the defendant didn't do anything wrong.
Hair is oddly colored there. It's not red. Young lady, as old as I am, even I recall how hot the flames of young passion can burn. Nevertheless, it's my job to discover the truth. Please tell us the truth. But I would never. That's more than enough, witness. I won't allow this to continue.
What do you mean by that?
Please just let me proceed with my cross-examination, Your Honor. I, for one, don't plan to win my case on a bunch of paper-thin lies. The character designs in this game, yeah. You haven't changed a bit. Mia Fey. What's this? So you two are acquainted? Yes, we've met before. Once.
In any case, Miss Fey, the floor is all yours.
It's good to see you again, Madam Fey.
Madam?
I'm no one's grandma yet, girlie. In the fan translation, she just calls her an old hag, I think. Fun little factoid about the, sorry to zoom in on her face like that. One little neat little factoid about the veil she has. So, you can see it's got a transparency effect in it. That's only there from the DS version and on. In the GBA version, I believe it's just, dither. Like a dither pattern instead. That makes it look like it's transparent. But, I can't remember. It's kind of like the text boxes. How they have the dithering squares on them. I think that's how her, no zooming in on armpits. Nice one. Good. What I witnessed. I've been planning to go back to Feeney's place after the class was over. I remember that line popping up earlier. Now, unless I'm mistaken, Mr. Wright is in the art department. If that's the case, then what were you doing by the pharmacology building? Well, I'm in the literature department. I'm studying Japanese senryu poetry.
Oh, how wonderful! Is that humorous yet satirical style of haiku, yes?
Ooh, ran out of breath during that one. Nothing left to do. When a man reaches this age, sleep is his best friend. That's supposed to be poetry? Sounds more like a midlife crisis. For me to get to the art department, I have to walk through that back area.
Ah, yes, I see. That makes sense. When I want to enter the courthouse, I always walk through the front doors.
How else would you enter? Teleportation? So who is this Dougie person? Why are you asking that, Mia? You're not that stupid. Oh, I'm sorry. Doug Swallow. We were dating until about 8 months ago. So what were Dougie, Mr. Swallow, and Mr. Wright talking about anyway? How could you be so mean? I would never eavesdrop. I wasn't raised to be so rude and unrefined. That's right, Miss Fey.
Don't drag the witness down to your level.
Why am I being demonized here?
Please go on. What did you see next?
Are you saying that the victim just collapsed on his own? Yes. In other words, the defendant never touched the victim, is that right? I was watching the whole time. Feeney never did a thing to Dougie. If I press her for no good reason, I just know the judge will get angry with me. So what should I do about her testimony just now? Show contradiction, baby. Feeble lies are not very becoming, Miss Hawthorne, so let's drop them, shall we? What? I would never. Miss Fey, I will not allow you to badger this witness. I believe the defense is engaged in a fishing expedition. That is, she has no supporting... Please don't glare at me like that. I'm just doing my job. Now then, Miss Hawthorne. The defendant's palm print was found on Mr. Swallow's leather jacket. It has already been shown that Mr. Wright did, in fact, push the victim. What? There's no need to try to cover for the defendant. It would be much better if you came out and told us the whole truth.
There's nothing to worry about, young lady. Just tell us everything you saw.
Yes, Your Honor. I will. If you don't mind, I'd like to revise my testimony. Looks like we're finally getting somewhere. I didn't see the moment he pushed Dougie. You didn't see it? Well, I saw the moment when Dougie fell to the ground. And at that time, there was only 2 of them at the scene. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and the victim, Doug Swallow. Yes, that's right. It didn't look like they were fighting, and I didn't hear anything unusual either. So then, what did it look like they were doing to you? I thought they were having a nice, friendly afternoon conversation. Oh, give me a break. Oh! Sorry. Oh, I never did the remastered version. You know what? I'm doing that tomorrow. I'm going to be doing voice stuff tomorrow, so I will do the remastered version of Give Me a Break. It's not loading. Did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all? No, nothing at all, Mr. Judge. Oh, I like the sound of that. Mr. Judge. Hey, Karma. Now then, please proceed with your testimony. I went to go find some other students and they called the authorities. When you say students, do you mean the students from the pharmacology department? Yes, they're all very fond of their drugs. Please try to stay on topic. So to find some pharmacology students, you went into the labs, correct? That's what I was planning to do, but in the end, I wound up not going. A group of about 10 research students came running out of the building entrance. Somehow, they all seemed to know what was going on. The students knew what was going on? But how could the students have known what was going on? Well, I don't know for sure that they knew what had happened. It's just they all seemed kind of excited about something. Doesn't look like I'm going to get any more info about the students. So did the students call the police? Yes, I was so panicked. Yes, well, anyone would have been, my dear. That girl, she's telling a super obvious lie and she knows it. Meowdy, watch this from your lappy-toppy. Lapperson-topperson. Lapkle-topkle. That's what it's short for, just like bike is short for Bikle. If mic is short for microphone, then bike is short for bikerophone. She's just pretending to protect Mr. Wright. Yes, that's gotta be it. Way to go, Mia. Okay, that means I'm going to have to dig deep to find the contradiction on this one. Not really. She didn't hear anything unusual either. We know that Phoenix heard the umbrella snapping. You say you didn't hear anything unusual. Is that correct? Yes, that's why I was very relaxed looking at the scenery around me. That's nice, but I find that just a little odd. I have here the testimony of your boyfriend, Mr. Phoenix Wright, and he clearly testified to the effect that when he pushed the victim, he heard a sharp, loud noise. He said that? If you were really that close to the two of them, why didn't you hear this noise as well? Well, maybe the noise wasn't just all that memorable. But according to Mr. Wright's testimony, it was a sharp noise, like a snap. There's no way a noise like that could fail to make an impression. Ah! Damn it. May I have a moment to answer? By all means. I know the reason why I didn't hear the noise. You see, the truth is, I had my headphones on, and I was listening to music at the time. Headphones? You mean that both of your ears were covered? Rain was just beginning to let up. But it seems as though Thor wasn't ready for his fun to come to an end yet. So the sky continued to flash and rumble. Thunder and lightning, huh? Yes, I'm afraid of the sound of thunder. So I put my headphones on to block it out. Well, Your Honor, as you could see, there weren't any contradictions in her testimony after all. Wait a second, Mia, that testimony just now. She said something that could totally change this case. There was lightning. Your Honor, there is a problem with the witness's testimony.
What do you mean?
Didn't you notice? She said there was lightning, correct?
Yes, what about it?
Well, lightning is actually a large discharge of electricity in the atmosphere, am I right?
Now's not the time for a science lesson, Miss Fey.
Yes, Your Honor. Anyway, since the cause of death was electrocution, isn't it possible that the victim died from being hit by a bolt of lightning?
Oh! I must admit that the thought had not occurred to me.
Just what kind of thoughts do occur to this guy, anyway? This entire case is built on the premise that Mr. Doug Swallow was murdered. But that very premise itself is mistaken. The defense believes that the Mr. Swallow was, in fact, the victim of a stray bolt.
It appears the defense may be onto something. Could it be that the death was actually accidental?
Alright, you did it, Mia. I'll be taking that not guilty verdict now if you... I'm hurt that you have such a low opinion of me, Miss Fey. Huh? Huh? I'm not a fool, you know. The prosecution has done its research, Your Honor. We found that there were no lightning strikes on that day at that location. What? What's more, we have evidence that the electrical cable is definitely linked to this case.
Evidence, Mr. Payne? Well, what is this evidence?
This affidavit.
And who is this affidavit from?
The pharmacology students who were conducting experiments in their labs that day. Allow me to read out to the court the testimony of the pharmacology students. All equipment in the labs lost power all of a sudden around 3 p.m. that day.
Was it a blackout?
All the lab's equipment runs on high voltage, Your Honor. So you're saying that the equipment lost power because... Precisely. They lost power because of the severed electrical cable. The power outage occurred at approximately 3 p.m.
Which fits with the time of death listed in the autopsy report.
Exactly. In other words, the victim died as a result of touching the severed electrical cable. According to the students, the cables were very old. They were planning on having them replaced in the near future.
I see.
Apparently the cables had become so brittle that even the smallest bump would have caused them to break. The old power cable broke due to some sort of impact on April 9th at 2:55 p.m.
However, there's one thing that troubles me. If the cable could have been broken by any small bump, then it wouldn't have snapped if it had been hadn't been bumped into, correct?
Well, I suppose you could say that. Just melt so many homeworks. Oh, your semester isn't... I thought your semester would be close to over now, Karma. Keep up with your homeworks.
Miss Fey, do you have any thoughts regarding the cause of the severed cable?
Your Honor. I don't like how this is looking one bit. I have to come up with something to try to regain some momentum. If it pleases the court, the defense would like to state its opinion.
Well then, let's hear it. Who or what was it that caused the cable to break?
This is it. This is why the cable snapped. Well, Your Honor?
Oh. I believe that the only thing that snapped is the mind of the defense.
Ah, that was one of your best lines yet, Your Honor. Ouch, that was harsh. Please, Your Honor, give me one more chance. Your Honor, please think back to Mr. Wright's testimony.
The defendant's testimony?
He said that he pushed the victim, and he heard a loud, sharp noise afterwards. Now, this happened at around 3 p.m., correct?
Yes, that sounds right. Wait, are you saying that...
The lab equipment lost power at 2:55 p.m., which fits right in with Mr. Wright's timeline. In other words, it was Mr. Wright's shove that caused the power outage. He's a powerful boy. Yes, the prosecution could also come to that same conclusion. And it was that very shove that caused Mr. Swallow to be electrocuted. I'm afraid I can't agree with you there, Mr. Payne. Well, what's that supposed to mean? Take a good look at where the victim landed after being shoved. See the umbrella? It's by the electrical pole. That's right. The victim banged into that pole as a result of being pushed. It was that impact that caused the cable to break.
Well, that makes sense, and then the victim was electrocuted.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but no, it doesn't make any sense at all. If the victim was shoved into that far pole in the back, then he couldn't have been electrocuted by this severed cable in the foreground here. Ah! In other words, someone other than my client must have electrocuted the victim.
Order! Order in the court! Ah, the lamentations of my enemy. How I've longed to hear them. It's true, the defense is absolutely correct. There doesn't seem to have been any way the defendant could have been...
Mr. Judge, sir? May I say something? Madam Attorney's explanation. She said some things that are a little different than I remember them.
What the...
Please, just once more. May I please testify one last time? Please, Mr. Judge?
Of course, it's alright. Just go right ahead and give your new testimony.
This is it. She's finally starting to show her true colors. She's actually green! The truth is, Feeney pushed him twice. The first time was into the electrical pole. That's when the cable broke. Then Dougie tried his best to run away from him, but Feeney caught up to him and crashed into him from behind. The cable snapping and Dougie being electrocuted, it all occurred in less than a minute.
So after being shoved, the victim got up and tried to run away.
And that's when the defendant pushed him for the second time. I'm so sorry, Feeney, but I just have to tell the truth. A little different than I remember that, maybe because you're a lying sack of dungle bolts. Yeah. Am I doing the right thing? Am I, Mr. Judge?
Of course you are, my dear. As painful as it may seem, you are. Now then, Miss Fay, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
Gotta poke a hole through this one. Sorry, I had to burp again. Miss Hawthorne, previously in your testimony, you said the following. Actually, I didn't see the moment he pushed Dougie. I know. I'm sorry. I wanted to protect Feeney. So that's why you basically lied to the court? This is legit making you uppity? Oh, don't worry. Just keep watching. I was a bad girl, I know. Mr. Judge?
Yes?
Would you please forgive little old me?
Of course he won't. It's called perjury. Oh, come now. It was just a little old white lie. We'll forget it for this time, but please be careful from now on, okay? Judge is getting horny for the girl.
Also, Commer, here's one for you, too. Don't think I didn't see that. Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Judge.
Not at all.
Judge had better be more careful himself. A dark alley is friendlier than that girl. It's still perjury, yeah. You know how often perjury gets committed in this series, though, and no one does shit to people? And that's just how the series is. You're saying you actually saw the victim get pushed into the electrical pole. I know he didn't look it, but Feeney can be a bit of an imp when he wants to be. I like that line. Oh, really? But I'd never imagined he would cause an electrical cable to break. Feeney really is scary when he gets mad.
Yes, he sounds like a very dangerous individual indeed.
So let me get this straight. You were happily listening to your music on your headphones while you watched this unfold? Miss Fay, I'll have to ask you to stop badgering the witness. I wasn't happy. I was so scared that I couldn't even move. All I could do was stand there and cheer them on. Cheer them on? What do you mean by that? Well, I wished them the best for them both, and that they would each give the fight their all.
That's very sweet of you to be so supportive.
And what happened after that? In the fan translation, she says that she was secretly rooting for both of them to win the fight. And she was like, she says she was cheering in her head, "Go Phoenix, go Dougie, or go Jack." And the judge's remark in there is like, "Oh, I see the girl has a bit of a fiery temperament to her." Gag me with a spoon, jeez. But Feeny caught up and crashed into him from behind. That doesn't sound quite right. There were handprints found on the chest of the victim's leather jacket. Mr. Payne, were there also prints found on the back of his leather jacket?
Well, no, there weren't.
Madam Faye, might I suggest that you listen a little more carefully? I said that he crashed into him from behind, right? My Feeny wouldn't leave any prints behind in that case, would he? My nose is doing something weird there. The cable snapping and Dougie being electrocuted, it all occurred in less than a minute. Did you actually witness the moment the victim was electrocuted? I'm sorry, I didn't actually see it. I turned my eyes away.
That's understandable. Yes, indeed, it would have been a horrific sight for anyone to behold.
If I don't figure out the contradiction here, it's all over. She didn't have much time to come up with her lies, so this is my best chance. There must be a hole in her testimony somewhere. Think, Mia. Shit, went too far. It all occurred in less than a minute. Power cable snapped at 2:55 p.m. If that happened and he got electrocuted, that means it would have happened at 2:56 at the latest. But if we're to take this as the time of his death when he got electrocuted because it stopped, that would be 3:05 p.m., not 2:55. So there was a 10-minute gap there. Also, like how the hour hand is very slightly past the 3 p.m. mark on that to signify that it's been a few minutes. Very good, very accurate. That's enough, witness. I'm afraid I don't understand. You will in a minute. Could you please take a look at this picture? Oh, that medicine. That's the one Feeny likes to take for his cold. The jelly beans. It's not the medicine I want you to look at. It's the wristwatch. It stopped at the precise time the victim was electrocuted. In other words, 3:05 p.m.
Yes, and your point is, Miss Faye?
My point is this. What time was it when the lab suffered that power outage due to the cable snapping? Well, according to the student's testimony, the answer is clear. It was 2:55 p.m. No! Would you care to explain this to the court, Miss Dalia Hawthorne? What exactly happened during this 10-minute interval? The defense proposes that it was during this interval that the real murderer killed Mr. Doug Swallow.
Order in the court. What's this all about?
This is nonsense. The real murderer. Even you can't deny that the time between the cable breaking and the electrocution are completely unaccounted for. Then who was it? Who else are you saying could have done it? There's only one person who could have murdered Mr. Swallow. Only after my client had left the scene. Was there a window of opportunity for the real killer?
Miss Faye, is the defense ready to indict someone as the real killer?
It's finally time. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Yes, Your Honor. We are ready.
Very well, but remember, if you accuse the wrong person, you will be penalized. Think very carefully before you speak, Miss Faye. Now then, Miss Faye, let's have it. Who is the real killer?
I mean, who do you think it is? There's only one person it could be. It could only have been you, Dalia Hawthorne. How can you? The defense is grasping at straws. 10 minutes passed between the time the cable broke and the time of the electrocution. What exactly were you doing that whole time, Miss Hawthorne? Were you really listening to music while cheering them both on as they fought? I find it hard to believe you didn't lift a finger to stop the men dearest to you.
Order, order, Miss Fey! Well, what I mean, why, that is to say...
Miss Hawthorne, I believe you did witness the two men fighting on that day. However... Someone liked the tweet that I replied to, like, months ago, but not the actual tweet. It's weird. After Mr. Wright pushed the victim and subsequently left the scene, it was you who pushed Mr. Swallow to his death. Swallow? S-T-W-A-L-L-O-W? It was you who pushed Mr. Swallow to his death by your very own hands. I don't know. How could you say something so mean, Madam Fey? I didn't do anything.
Miss Fey, this is a very serious charge.
Sorry, I have my controller on the table, so it keeps buzzing.
Your Honor, please, I have something I want to say. Wish the judge would be replaced on the crime of misconduct.
He's got tenure, they can't replace him. Hold on 1 second, sorry. I need a sip, actually. Dry throating very hard right now. Shit. Come on, I wanted to check something real quick and not interrupt everything.
Your Honor, please, I have something I want to say. Achoo! You! What is it? Please strike everything the defense said just now from the record.
What the? Are you daft?
You're totally wrong, Miss Fey. Dolly, she could never do something like that. Mr. Wright, get back in your seat. Bailiff, grab that man.
Ah! Leave my Dolly alone. Don't be rude. Don't be rude, Toa. Oh, damn it. Why did I say that? I have the fucking meme. Don't be rude.
Don't be rude, Toho. No.
My first chance to actually use that in months. And I say it out loud before I read your message out loud before I say it, use it. And just to properly finish that off, hold on, where is it?
I'd love to get my fingers around his dick.
You know I put that on there because of you. That boy.
He's gotten himself way in over his head.
By the way, you know the series you're working on? Yeah, I know. You told me about it. Oh, Mr. Grossberg, you're back.
It seems I arrived just in the nick of time. Found the police report on that incident in your newspaper clipping.
Police report added to the court record. A report on the incident 8 months ago. Thank you so much. This is exactly what I was hoping for. Location, District Courthouse Cafeteria. Date, time, August 27th, 4 p.m. Victim, Diego Armando, age 28. Occupation, lawyer. Suspect, Dalia Hawthorne, age 19. Armando ingested poison while interviewing the suspect regarding another case. Traces of poison were found in the victim's coffee cup. No poison was found in the vicinity or on the suspect's person. It is unclear how the poison entered the victim's coffee cup. Diego Armando. Might be searching for voice actors? Oh, I could help you get in touch with a few of them.
You'd better take a good look at it. It, details how you came to lose your boyfriend. Now then, the defense has made a very serious accusation. Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this?
Well, really, Your Honor, I... May I interrupt you for just a moment, Mr. Prosecutor? Don't you worry, my dear. I have the situation well in hand. That is, go right ahead. Madam Faye, are you seriously accusing me of killing my sweet Dougie? Yes, I am. Not only am I saying you murdered Doug Swallow, but you also tried to pin the whole thing on your current lover, Phoenix Wright. I told you that you should let me handle this. Weep. Sorry. Please go ahead. How could you say that? I'm absolutely devoted to my dear Feeny. The notion that I would try to frame him is ludicrous. This is all just too much for poor little me to bear. Oh, I believe this girl is trying to ask what on earth her motive would be. The answer to that lies somewhere in this police report. It must. 8 months ago, an incident occurred in the basement cafeteria of this building. And then, that same day, the two of them accidentally meet. Your Honor, the defense requests further testimony from Ms. Dalia Hawthorne.
Further testimony? What about?
About the event of the day when she first met the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright. What could that possibly have to do with this case? The witness claims that she has no reason to frame the defendant, am I correct? Well, I have evidence that suggests that she, in fact, had a very good reason.
Very well, then. The court grants the defense's request. Young lady, would you mind staying on for just a bit longer?
Of course not, Mr. Judge. Get ready for the battle of your life, Dalia Hawthorne. How I Met My Feeny. I first met my darling Feeny 8 months ago. It's like we were destined to meet in the very courthouse's basement reading room. The moment our eyes met, my heart skipped a beat. We've been going out ever since that fateful day. We're so lovey-wovey, we literally make people sick. It's just jealousy, I think.
Mr. Wright, do that again, you'll be held in contempt of court.
And now we enter the final act of our little drama.
As we used to say in the days of my youth, go get her!
So until that time, you had been dating Doug Swallow? Yes. I'm a real fool, I know. Letting my emotions change so quickly. I'm ashamed of myself.
Oh no, not at all. Look at me. I'm infamous for changing my mind. My critics have even taken to calling me Judge Fickle.
Maybe you should look for a different line of work.
Despite that, however, he always hands down the correct verdict. That's why some people also call him the Great Judgini.
The courthouse reading room. That's a strange place to meet the love of your life. Thank you, Mia, yeah. That's not true, Madam Faye. After all, Feeny was not only an art student, but he was also planning on becoming a lawyer. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about you, Miss Hawthorne. What was a literature student like you doing in a courthouse reading room? This line of questioning is a waste of time. It has nothing to do with our murder case.
Miss Faye, I'm warning you. If this has nothing to do with Mr. Swallow's case...
I have to remember the judge is on Dalia's side. Better tread carefully. Press that bitch. Your Honor, if you'll allow me some latitude, I think I could establish relevance. Please ask her to continue on with her testimony.
Very well, young lady, I've got a simple question for you. What were you doing downstairs in the courthouse reading room?
If it pleases Your Honor, the answer is simply this. I'd come to this courthouse to do some research for a paper I was writing. You were writing a paper? On what? On the relationship between the modern Senryu poetry and the criminal underworld.
Oh, that sounds like a fascinating research idea.
Am I getting old? Now I've even forgotten what I've forgotten. Again with the midlife crisis stuff?
Yeah, why did that girl really come to this courthouse? Isn't that what you wanted to know? And speaking of forgetting things, you haven't forgotten the police report, have you? I went through a lot of trouble to get it, my dear, so please make sure to read it carefully.
When our eyes met, my heart skipped a beat. So what was it about Mr. Wright that made your heart malfunction like that? Because clearly he's not that great. In my personal opinion, he just looks like a typical snotty-nosed college brat. Perhaps to a woman your age, but to me, Feeney is handsome. Perhaps to you, Miss Hawthorne, but to the rest of the planet, he's a dime a dozen. Wow! Mia just coldly shutting Phoenix's looks down. Love is a mysterious thing, and I object to this line of questioning. If you were to look at my wife, for example, you might all be shocked. He's telling the truth. It was truly, truly shocking. Beautiful mushroom, growing tall in the darkness. It comes from cow dung. That's the poem that best describes how I feel about my Feeny. So he's a beautiful mushroom, or is he the cow dung? Were there any bad feelings between you and Mr. Swallow? No, none at all. We parted on very good terms. But that can't be. Our investigation shows that it was a clean breakup. Huh. Are you sure? Yes, it seems that they both wanted it that way. So the victim wanted to break up with her? So you're saying that Mr. Swallow also wanted to break up with you? Well, you see... What a cruel thing to ask a lovely young lady like this. By the way, I have never once considered leaving my wife.
No one cares, Mr. Payne.
She didn't deny it. That must mean... Doug Swallow must have seen through her little act. He must have gotten a glimpse of her true nature.
Listen to me, Mia. That woman is the judge in the palm of her hand, you see. So the only way to discredit her is to find a contradiction in her testimony.
Come to this courthouse to do some research for a paper I was writing. That is incorrect. She was there for police questioning. Miss Hawthorne, you weren't here because of your research paper, were you? Didn't you actually come here for a much more important reason? What is the meaning of that cocky smile on your face, Miss Fay? 8 months ago, right here in this very courthouse, there was another tragedy. Another tragedy?
You mean the incident in which an attorney was poisoned?
The name of the suspect in that incident is listed right here in this police report. And that name is... Dalia Hawthorne. What?
Dalia Hawthorne?
Yes, the sweetie pie of everyone's eye, Miss Dalia Hawthorne. She was the prime suspect in a criminal case just 8 months ago.
Order! 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 This is unbelievable! It's true then, the loveliest rose can hide the cruelest thorn.
Miss Fay, that's not fair. You can't slander my witness on the different case. Blah, 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 blah. I, Winston Payne, will not allow it. Mr. Prosecutor, I believe I was speaking. Pardon me. Go right ahead. It's true that about 8 months ago, the police expressed some interest in me.
Expressed some interest, huh?
Mr. Judge, sir, I know I'm under oath, so I'll tell you the absolute truth. I did not commit the crime that occurred during that incident 8 months ago.
I see.
Okay, I've tied the two crimes together. Now I've just got to stay on the offensive.
Well done, Mia. Oh, you really lit a fire in my heart. And my buttocks. I can hardly tell which is more inflamed, my spirit or my hemorrhoids.
Gross. The poisoning. I met the lawyer who was poisoned to discuss something in the cafeteria that day. I left my seat for just a moment, and that's when it happened. From what I heard, it was a liquid poison that is lethal at just 2 teaspoons. Not only that, I heard it was a very special kind of poisoning. So you see, I'm innocent. I wouldn't even know where to get a poison like that.
So that's what happened here 8 months ago.
However, as you heard from the witness's testimony, she had nothing to do with it. I think the defense is just about out of tricks. I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Payne. I'm afraid the defense has many more tricks up its sleeve today. and I'll be sure to show them to you before the end of this cross-examination. Oh, why does the fence suddenly feel stronger?
Mia, you're glowing with a true lawyer's aura, my dear. That proud posture and self-confidence. Absolutely smashing.
What are you talking about with the defense attorney? Well, I'm sorry, but that's confidential.
According to the report, you were being interviewed regarding another case.
The lawyer that was killed. He said he wanted to talk about an incident I was caught up in when I was younger. Why don't you tell us all what that incident was? That has absolutely nothing to do at all with this case.
Objection sustained. The defense's question is stricken from the record.
You get involved in a lot of incidents, don't you, Miss Hawthorne? Well, I guess I was just born under a bad sign.
Don't worry, Dalia, I'll protect you! You heard that? Now that is true love, young lady.
Oh, Feeny, please.
Blah.
Those two really are making me ill, albeit for decidedly different reasons. I left my seat for just a moment, and that's when it happened. How long were you gone? I already answered all these questions for the police, but if you must know, maybe 10 or 20 minutes? And where were you during this stretch of time? Using the toilet?
What are you saying, Miss Fay?
Toilet? My perfect little dolly doesn't poop!
You are the defendant, Miss Fay. Better luck next time.
Oh, Feeny, please. The police have already looked into this whole matter. Yeah, best line ever. And if I'm not mistaken, the fan translation is very similar to that, too. This line of questioning is nothing but a waste of the court's time.
Objection sustained. Miss Hawthorne, please continue with your testimony.
Yo, that girl was shitting. She was shitting and farting. With a hard D. About how much liquid is 2 teaspoons?
Well, let me see. My bottle of eye drop says it's about half a fluid ounce, which is equal to 3 teaspoons.
So it's about 2/3 of that amount, huh? So actually, speaking of the fan translation, this line right here is actually written as a joke in the fan translation. Rather than being a more accurate, like, description of what 2 teaspoons is. It's written something like, it's written something like, where Mia goes like, how much is 2 teaspoons? And the judge goes, well, I'd say it's about less than 3 teaspoons. And then Mia goes, yes, about 2/3 as much as I suspect. So, yeah, she ends it with the same line, but it's written more as a joke than the actual game does it. The game goes for something much more straightforward. The poison was found in the lawyer's mug of coffee. Must have been after I left the table. Someone must have quietly slipped it in there. Not only that, I heard it was a very special kind of poison. A special kind of poison? How so? Well, I heard it's almost impossible to detect.
Oh, and where would something like that come from?
I'm sorry, all I know is what I overheard the policeman saying. They said something about using advanced chemical processes to purify it.
Chemical processes? Well, that's quite impressive. Most impressive.
Better question is, how did the criminal get something like that? And that's the reason they didn't arrest you? Because no one could have shown how you gotten the poison. I think that's a good enough reason, Madame Fay. She's right, and now I think we've had enough of Miss Fay's questions.
So in essence, the reason Miss Hawthorne was never arrested for this crime was because she had no one could show how she could have obtained the poison.
And all we have to do is find some way to establish how she could have gotten some, right? Great. Now, just how did a literature student get a hold of poison of all things? Even I wouldn't know where to get a poison like that unless she knew someone at the time who she could have gotten poison from. Someone who was dating the victim up until 8 months ago, coincidentally. Pharmacology. Ah, yes, the poison that used to kill Dougie. The Phoenix. Poison for Dougie and Phoenix, that poison. But no one was poisoned. The person who was poisoned was named Diego Armando. You wouldn't know how to get that kind of poison. Wait, well, completely read that wrong. Whoa. You wouldn't know how to get that kind of poison? I don't believe you. What? In fact, you had kind of easy access to that poison, didn't you? At your boyfriend's lab.
Boyfriend? You mean the victim, Mr. Doug Swallow?
That's right. Up until 8 months ago, Miss Hawthorne was dating Miss Swallow.
I know the reference you were making.
Don't worry. And if you'll recall, Mr. Swallow was a pharmacology student at Ivy University. Pharmacology? His laboratory contained highly advanced chemistry equipment. In fact, without such equipment, the culprit could never have obtained such rare and special poison. Well, Miss Hawthorne, it seems you had access to such a poison after all. And then it was a matter of slipping it into the victim's coffee when he wasn't looking. The only person who could have done that was the one sitting at this very table. At his very table, excuse me. You! Oh!
Order! Could it be?
That's nothing but a baseless May I say something, Madame Faye? What is it, Miss Hawthorne? The amount of poison in the coffee was 2 teaspoons, correct? In order to carry that much liquid, you would need some kind of container.
Oh yes, that's true.
I was searched immediately after the incident took place. Quite true. In fact, the entire courthouse was turned upside down. But they didn't find a suspicious container anywhere, did they? She's right. They even mentioned that in the report. Did they?
Oh yeah, it's unclear how no poison was found in the vicinity.
Well, you could have easily gotten rid of something that small. Excuse me, madam, but this is a court of law. If you're saying I threw away the poison container, I think you need to show some kind of proof.
Proof?
She got me good with that one.
Provide some evidence or I'll have to disallow this line of questioning, Miss Faye. Unless we could come up with some evidence, we're going to lose the lead.
The police conducted a full body search of Dalia and of the entire courthouse. And yet the container holding the poison disappeared right after the crime occurred.
We're going to accuse the young lady of committing the murder. And where is the container of poison that was carried in? What happened to it?
I think it's pretty obvious. Small bottle necklace given to Wright on the day they met. He shows it to everyone. You were forced to get rid of the container in a hurry, weren't you? And that's why you passed it on to someone that had nothing to do with the case. Someone that you knew wouldn't be searched.
Who is this person?
Mr. Phoenix Wright, of course. So the defendant was this witness's accomplice? Of course not. She gave the poison to him disguised as a present. What? But that's...
That's a charming little necklace. Is this a little bottle? It's really quite cute. So what about it? What does this mean, Miss Faye?
The day that witness met and fell for Mr. Phoenix Wright was 8 months ago. August 27th. The very same day as the poisoning incident. Under the pretense of love, the witness gave my client a present. All for the purpose of hiding the one piece of evidence that would give her away.
What? Are you saying there's a deadly poison in here?
No, there's no longer any poison in that bottle. However, I'm certain if the crime lab were to analyze it, they would find a trace amount. Oh! Ah! I don't know how to do femme scream, sorry.
Order in the court.
On behalf of Dalia, I object! Mr. Wright, control yourself! I won't let you bully her like this!
Mr. Wright, I thought I told you to stay in your seat!
Mr. Wright, why? Why are you going through so much trouble to protect her? Why?
Because I'm madly in love with her. Madly in love. I haven't heard anyone say that in a long time. Mr. Wright, have you ever thought about this? Why exactly would a woman like Dalia Hawthorne want to date you anyway? Well, I guess she must be madly in love with me too. Mr. Wright, please, open your eyes. At this point in the trial, I think it should be obvious to everyone. The real reason that Dalia Hawthorne is dating you is because... Naturally, it's because she has fallen madly in love with you too. See? Just like I told you. Mia, what are you thinking? Are you thinking clearly? That flies in the face of everything we've learned up to this point. I'm sorry, I don't know why I even said that. I guess it's just because I like the sound of that phrase. Madly in love. Miss Faye, you can't remain a starry-eyed maiden for the rest of your life, you know. Please let me think it over one more time, Your Honor. Dalia Hawthorne was not and is not madly in love with you. Love and obsession are two different things. I mean, I guess you could say she was obsessed with him in a way. The only thing she's after is that bottle necklace you love to wear around your neck. My necklace? Back there in the waiting room, you said it yourself. For Dalia Hawthorne, for Dalia Hawthorne, that necklace was irrefutable evidence of her crime. That's why she absolutely had to get it back. You're lying. But you never gave it back to her. And to make things worse for her, you insisted on showing it to everyone you met. That's why she... I don't believe you. No! That's a lie! Ah! Mia, are you alright? Ah, the defendant, he's getting away. Bailiff, hurry after him. Mia, are you alright? Yes, I think so. Ah, boy, you went completely insane. Where's Mr. Wright? Looks like the bailiff caught him, so he should be back soon enough. Thank goodness. Oh no! What is it? The bottle necklace. Miss Hawthorne's present. It's gone! What? That's terrible. Yeah, it's gone. Mr. Wright must have grabbed it when he slammed into me. Foolish boy, that was the only thing that could have saved him. What in blazes are we supposed to do now? Mr. Wright, the sort of Sorry, I'm still sick. That didn't stop being a thing. Actually, hold on. Okay. Mr. Wright, this sort of behavior is unprecedented in the history of this court. I'm sorry. I'm afraid that your apology is not good enough. Mr. Wright, what did you do with the bottle necklace? Forgive me. I'm sorry. It's okay, just give back the necklace. I ate it. You... what? You ate it? It was too big to swallow, so I had to chew it into little bits first, but... yeah. What? What is he doing now? Your Honor, you've got to stop the trial. Mr. Wright, are you feeling okay? Does your stomach hurt? That bottle you swallowed may have had some poison left in it. The anime plays this scene up very comedically. The way Mia reacts is very funny. It seems the defendant has proven the prosecution's case for us. Clearly, that bottle did not contain a deadly poison.
could you be so sure? I think that's obvious. As you can see, the defendant is still very much alive. As for the poison, more like a fledgling defense attorney's overactive imagination.
So it would seem.
No, there must be some kind of mistake. The bottle must not have any The bottle must not have any... Sorry, I'm poisoned right now. Even if there's any poison, he still swallowed glass and metal, yeah. Glass. The bottle must not have had any poison left in it. Either that or the poison must have lost its potency. There, it's alright, rookie. Trusting your client is the most noble thing a defense attorney can do. And it's heartwarming to see you place this much faith in Mr. Wright. But that's how it is for us on the prosecution side, too. For example, I would trust the witness, Miss Hawthorne, with my very life. Which is why I could state that your assessment of her is completely wrong.
That's enough. Unfortunately, Miss Fey, I cannot accept your explanation of the events.
But why? Calayete, he might die, holy hell. Yeah, he's fine. I will smack you till the great Ace Attorney. That was 200 years ago. Or 100 years ago. 120 years ago at this point.
This may be impossible for a beginner like you to understand. But in a court of law, evidence is everything.
Even after I proved so much, is she going to get away with everything?
Well, now that the suspicion surrounding Miss Hawthorne has been cleared up, I would like to proceed with the trial.
Mr. Wright?
I'm sorry, Miss Fey. It, totally slipped my mind. I'm really, really sorry. I know you believed in me, and I feel like I really let you down.
Mr. Wright, what are you trying to say?
There's something I forgot to tell you. What is it? That day. The day I met Doug Swallow.
That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, it's none of your business. I'm telling you for your sake. You need to see her. It's going to be bad news. You're lying! Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Last night, someone stole some poison from our lab.
Poison?
The same thing happened 8 months ago. A drug sample was stolen. She came to the lab that time, too. It could only have been her. That girl is a thief.
Stop it! Don't talk about her like that!
So there we go, get the missing chunk of that conversation. Is it true? Did he really say that? That's ridiculous! There's one more thing. After I pushed him that day, I got worried and came back to have a look. And she was there. Dalia was right there. She was crouched down next to him. What? She told me not to ever tell anyone about it, but... I'm sorry, Dolly. Your Honor, the defendant is... Miss Fey, you tell them. Dolly didn't do that. She's innocent. So Dalia stole poison 8 months ago, too, huh? But you put that together with Mr. Wright's testimony, and there's only one possible conclusion. The defense believes that Miss Dalia Hawthorne stole some poison the night before she killed Doug Swallow.
The night before?
Naturally, her motive for stealing it was to kill someone.
Miss Fey? You're so certain of your theory, let me ask you this.
Yeah, this is your last chance. Think carefully now. There's something that she desperately wanted to get back. Therefore...
Exactly who is Miss Dalia Hawthorne planning to kill?
There was one person that was standing squarely in Miss Dalia Hawthorne's way. And that person was... Mr. Phoenix Wright.
Me?
That's preposterous! After all, it was Doug Swallow that was murdered. Well, it's true that that's how things worked out. But let's remember that Mr. Swallow died of electrocution, not poison. The person that Miss Hawthorne was planning to poison was, in fact, you, Phoenix Wright. There's no one else it could have been.
But how can that be? I thought Mr. Wright and Miss Hawthorne were in love.
Poor Mr. Wright, this must be killing him. Hang in there. I'll bring her to justice. I swear it. As I said before, the only thing Miss Hawthorne truly cared about was the one piece of evidence linking her to that incident 8 months ago. That's right, the bottle necklace. That's all she cared about. And now she should be happy because Phoenix got rid of it.
But even so, why? Why would she go so far as to murder him?
8 months ago, just after the fall of that attorney in the basement cafeteria, Dalia Hawthorne could think of only one thing. How to get rid of the bottle necklace as quickly as possible.
No, it can't be.
It was a pretty good move she made, too. The evidence went missing for a long time. But there was just one big problem. Although she got him to hide the evidence, Mr. Wright refused to return it to her. To him, that tiny little bottle was a cherished treasure. He even showed it to everyone he met.
You mean that's why she tried to kill Mr. Wright?
Correct, Your Honor. It was to retrieve that piece of evidence.
That can't be true!
Feeny, what a joke you are. Honestly, how can any woman ever count on you for anything? I even told you time and time again to keep your trap shut about me and that necklace. You disgust me.
Miss Hawthorne?
It appears that we're nearing the end of this trial. Fine. I can tell you plan on making me into a criminal no matter what I say. You are a criminal, Miss Hawthorne. We'll see about that. But first, where's your evidence? It seems your sniveling little crybaby of a client has eaten the bottle as a snack. Hey, old man, are you senile or something? Why don't you say something instead of sitting there with that dumb look on your face?
Miss Hawthorne, what's happened to you?
Are you really that shocked? Or do you prefer me this way, Mr. Judge? With absolutely no proof, you treat a voluntary witness like she's a mass murderer. Well, I have nothing more to say. I'll be heading home now, if you don't mind.
But we're not finished.
Fine. Then ask this nasty old hag to finish up already. Can't let her get away this time.
Stop, Mia. If you keep on pushing without any evidence, you could pay the ultimate price as a lawyer.
The ultimate price?
You'd be forced to take off your attorney's badge forever, I'm afraid. I mean, maybe not forever. You might be able to get it back one day, but who knows?
No! You'd better think it over carefully, Miss Fay. Or should I say, Miss Gray.
Well, Miss Fay, can you provide evidence that would establish your guilt once and for all?
If I mess up here, my career as a lawyer is over. But to be honest, at this point, I don't have any evidence that's well-founded. Even so, I'd rather lose my attorney's badge than let her get away with murder. Your Honor, the defense would like to present proof. Impossible! You can't possibly... Stupid woman.
It is the opinion of this court that there's already been enough discussion. Therefore, I will allow only one piece of evidence to be presented.
Just one?
If you're unable to establish her guilt, then I'm afraid that a very harsh verdict will immediately be handed down onto Mr. Wright.
I understand, Your Honor. I can just imagine the headlines for tomorrow's newspaper. Up-and-coming lawyer plummets to earth before she gets the chance to soar. She was planning to poison Mr. Wright. If that's the case, then the poison was probably in there.
Well then, Miss Fey, please present your evidence. Show this to the court irrefutable proof that Miss Hawthorne was planning to poison Mr. Wright.
I need a sip first, but... Yeah, attorneys lose their badge for making mistakes, but when prosecutors push without evidence, it's fine, yeah. Again, game physics, game rules. Anyway, if Dalia was going to poison Phoenix, there's only one thing that she could have put the poison in to poison him. Something that she knew he was going to ingest. Which, I mean, let's be honest, there's only one item here that you can eat. So it's gotta be Cold Killer X. Here it is, Your Honor. The evidence that will prove her guilt once and for all.
Cold Killer X. Phoenix Wright's beloved cold medicine.
Does our rookie defense attorney have a bit of a cold? Actually, yes, I have COVID right now. If I did, I still wouldn't take this cold medicine. After all, it's been poisoned. Beloved cold medicine, yeah. In quotation marks.
What?
Remember what the defendant said in her testimony. In his testimony, excuse me. She was the one who took his bottle of Cold Killer X. Then she poisoned it, knowing that Mr. Wright was going to take some. Now you're really grasping at straws. After all, it was the victim, Doug Swallow, that was holding the medicine. I would like the court to recall the crime that happened here 8 months ago. Where did Miss Hawthorne hide the evidence?
What are you talking about?
8 months ago, the poison was hidden in her bottle necklace, which she then gave to someone else for safekeeping. Someone she'd accidentally run into in the reading room. My client, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Yes, that's right. She did the same thing this time as well. After shoving the victim, Mr. Phoenix Wright left the scene of the crime. That is when the murderer, Dalia Hawthorne, appeared. With no face. With her, she was carrying the poisoned bottle of Cold Killer X. This, of course, was so she could carry out her plan to murder Mr. Wright.
I believe she did testify that she was going to meet with the defendant.
Yes, and she heard and saw everything that happened at the scene of the crime. Including what the defendant and the victim were arguing about and the cut electrical cable. That's when she realized, I can't allow Doug Swallow to live. She used the severed electrical cable to silence him forever. Unfortunately for her, this is when the problem occurred. Mr. Wright, who she thought had left the scene, came back to check on the victim. And on top of that, because of the power outage, some students showed up as well. It's hardly any wonder that she was, as she put it, in a state of panic. Recall that she was carrying that bottle of poisoned cold medicine. She must have thought, what if they searched me like they did 8 months ago? 8 months ago? Yes, she disposed of the evidence exactly the same way she did back then. She had someone else hold it. In this case, Doug Swallow. Thus pinning the crime on Wright. Oh, come on now, everyone. Surely you aren't fooled, are you? This stupid woman. She's nothing but a filthy, stinking liar. Right, Mr. Prosecutor? Huh? Yes, that's exactly right. It's just pure desperation. I wonder which one of us is the desperate one. So, Miss Hawthorne, this cold medicine. I wonder if you wouldn't mind taking some right now. Well, Mr. Wright ate that necklace of yours, right? Now it's your turn to prove your innocence. What do you say? If I'm just a filthy, stinking liar, then there's no need to worry. So come on, show us. I dare you to take some of this medicine right now. Mia Fey. Mia Fey! Do you think you've won? Well, do you, Mia Fey? That's just fine. For the time being, victory is yours. For the time being? Well, I have a very long memory, you know. You and I will meet again. I'm certain of it. She murdered the butterflies, yeah. Well then, Mr. Judge. I'll see you later too, okay? Huh? Yes. I'm going to go spend a little quality time with the men in blue now. I wish you all the best. Whew. It's finally all over. I refuse to accept this! The defense has shown a scrap of evidence to support their outrageous claim.
But even so, your witness seems to have accepted it.
Butterflies being with her is truly fitting because they love trash and blood. Yeah. Do they love blood, really? I don't care, I'm Winston Payne, and I don't believe one word that this rookie lawyer has said. Well then, Mr. Payne, let me ask you this. Yes? Would you care to try this cold medicine? What? Just a little earlier, I could have sworn you said... blood and any moisture, huh? For example, I would trust the witness, Miss Hawthorne, with my very life. So, if she's so trustworthy, then I'm sure there couldn't possibly be any poison in here, right? You see, yes. And here comes the backpedal. Come on now, rookie killer. Show this rookie how it's done. How much trust do you really have for this woman? Are you willing to bet your life? My hair! It's flying off my head! My beautiful hair! No! Ow. And there we go. That's how you break a man forever.
Mr. Payne? About Miss Dalia Hawthorne.
Yes, Your Honor. I'll follow the papers for her immediate arrest.
Tragic.
Why am I getting a notification now of all times? Winner? Oh. Why, in a certain anime, butterflies swarm corpses because of the moisture on the corpse.
Tragic, but not surprising. I knew there was something suspicious about her from the very beginning.
Don't lie, just admit you were wrong.
By the way, Miss Fey.
Yes, Your Honor?
Was it just me, or did you and Miss Dalia Hawthorne seem to know each other?
Your Honor, whether we did or not has no bearing on this case.
Very well. Mr. Payne.
This can't be happening. It's a nightmare. It's like losing to my daughter.
It appears Mr. Payne has lost his spirit along with his hair. Does the defendant have anything further to say?
It can't be true, my dear Dolly.
Very well, then. I believe I'm ready to pass judgment and bring this trial to an end. The court finds the defendant, Phoenix Wright, not guilty, bitches. This court is adjourned.
April 11th, 3:16 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 3.
Mia, you are wonderful in there.
Thank you for everything, Mr. Grossberg.
During the verdict, I thought my hemorrhoids were going to explode like Mount Vesuvius.
Mr. Grossberg, do you, maybe think you could stop talking about them?
That's rather rude. Anyway, this case really made me think. What does it really mean to have a relationship of mutual trust with a client? Perhaps it is we veteran lawyers who have lost sight of this.
Oh, Mr. Wright. Congratulations.
Thanks. You know, I was thinking... Go on. The Dalia I saw up there in the witness stand. I don't think that was really her.
One of the saddest people to not be not guilty, yeah. Hey, Robo Bunny Hops.
What? Yeah, the Dalia I know could have never said those kinds of terrible things. Maybe she was like, I don't know, a fake or something. Boy, this poor kid still hasn't got a clue. Need to forget about her, Mr. Wright, for your own sake. Yeah, you're right. That's probably for the best. Also, you need to relax a bit more. Try to grow up a little. Boop? Why are you booping me? But, out of all my friends, everyone says I'm the most grown up. Yikes! What kind of company does this guy keep? Right now, I'm studying to become a lawyer myself. That's what you keep saying. But I thought you were in the art department. Well, yeah, I am. But there's a friend that I desperately want to help. And if I hurry, then I should still be able to save him in time. I see. Say, Miss Faye, a lawyer is someone who can help people when they're in trouble, right? Mr. Wright, I'm still new at this myself. But I think that's exactly what a lawyer is. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'll study my butt off. I'll become a lawyer for sure. I hope we could see each other again someday. Maybe even in court. It's been 5 years since I was acquitted of all charges. I became a lawyer like I planned, and managed to save my friend. But Mia has passed on to a better place. For me, this trial brings up a lot of painful memories. But it also brings up some very precious ones, too. And memories that I thought would never rise to the surface again. Mia is gone now. But even so, I can hear her in my mind. Phoenix, no matter what, always believe in your client. In a court of law, your greatest weapon is your belief. I didn't say greatest, did I? God damn it. Wright's companies are an edgy and brooding prosecutor and a mischievous monkey, yeah. 5 long years. Something has happened that's made me think back to her words of wisdom. But that is a story for another day. Episode 1, Turnabout Memories. The end. That hurts? Oh, you haven't seen nothing yet. Trust me. This whole case was a prelude to everything that's about to come in this game. It gets so much more painful. Anyway, it's time for the stolen turnabout. It's 2:52. I should stop, but you know what? We got 40 minutes. We could probably get to the first segment of this. Even so I could hear in my mind, gay, homosexual, gay. That's a great place to end the recording of episode 1.